Well, I'm trying to tell you something about my life. Maybe give me insight between black and white. And the best thing you ever done for me is to help me take my life less seriously. 'Cause it's only life after all. Yeah. Well, darkness has a hunger that's insatiable. And lightness has a call that's hard to hear. I wrap my fear around me like a blanket. I sailed my ship of safety till I sank it. I'm crawling on your shores. I went to the doctor. I went to the mountains. I looked to the children. I drank from the fountains. There's more than one answer to these questions, pointing me in a crooked line. And the less I seek my source for some definitive, closer I am to find. Closer I am to find. Welcome, Angel Channel, episode 86. That one's for Grace. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Spectra, how you doing? Diane, always a delight. Inga, there you are, girl. Tammy Joe, what's up? Glad you could join us. Tonight's going to be a pretty good show. I think I've had just so many people that have been talking about being immersed in shadow work and how to get started on shadow work, and so we're going to do a whole shadow show tonight, and it'll be really good. It's not going to be yucky, actually. That's one of the things I want to talk to you about. I have to share with you, though, this morning, last few months, last 3 or 4 months, been just kind of like, wow, it's been really hard to stay centered and stay up. And I woke up this morning just feeling so amazingly hopeful and just like there's hope. And that's the first time I've just really felt that in a long, long time. And so sending out a big wave of that to you guys too. And hope you're feeling it as well. As always, thanks to my sponsors, Fried Okra Entertainment, my buds up at Fried Okra, Ernie Mosteller, and check out their website, friedokra.tv. Some amazing work. Ernie's amazing photography. And as always, a heartfelt thanks for keeping us up and running, man. I really appreciate that. And our new sponsor, Audrey Asciutto Realty, the badass real estate agent in Sebring, Florida. So thanks both to you guys for believing and supporting and helping us keep it going, man. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Inga says she was angry for a month. Yeah. Well, I hope you're not pissy anymore, man. We'll try to like get us all out of that. You know, that's one of the things about this show, and like several times I've taken stock about, you know, why am I doing this? And you know, it really is just first of all, we're developing our own little energetic family, which I just think is amazing. And we've already grown and done stuff that is real magic, like that thing with my son. That was real magic. And you know, I have designed the show not to be even as I sit here talking, it's not really designed to be a talk show. You know, it's designed to like get into our energy and work our real energy and build up our magic chops and find our biggest selves. And I truly hope every week that we give you a little something that, like, you know, you feel better at the end of the show, maybe just a little bit. And I hope it comes to be kind of a scenario where, you know, you're looking for your little weekly soul spa. And, you know, it's so easy. time is just rushing by like a locomotive. Like I just blinked my eyes and it was Monday last week, and like, here we are again. And yeah, so anyway, I've got hey CJ, I'm glad you could join us. Philip, nice to see you. um I've got some really cool news, and on the subject of why I'm doing this. I make myself available. I throw stuff out to you guys on the show, but anybody that's been interested in pursuing stuff farther, I make myself available where I can to help them along. And one of our crew has just really kind of blown me away, and I just feel really gratified and happy with where this has gone. And I'm kind of surprising her tonight, so I hope she doesn't get pissed off. But um, our friend Inga Combs, man, like Inga, Iceland Inga, man, volcano girl. I have to say, one of the parts of my little teaching regime, when it's not just random pieces thrown out, but it's kind of a specific program. One of the pieces of that is developing your intuitive things and your clairvoyance, and being able to get some skills like get an oracle that you're comfortable with. And Inga jumped on uh, the tarot, and we dove into it. It hasn't been that long, like 2 or 3 months, and man, every time we met, she was on them and got it, and not just memorized the meanings, but was really kind of understanding on a deeper level than just the surface stuff. And that was really fun, just as it was. And I threw out, I'm a pop quiz kind of teacher, so we go a couple of sessions and don't really talk about it, and then I would throw out, so what's the Six of Cups, what's the Queen of Wands. And man, she was like all over it. And I let a couple weeks go by, and I think on our last one, I gave her a pop quiz and said, like, do a 3-card reading for me. And man, she just jumped right on it, like shuffled those things up, did the reading out, like held them up, and nailed it, like nailed it. And I was just so happy for her, man. It's like she's just really kind of taking it on. So I wanted to extend my deepest kudos, and I hope you guys will celebrate this as well. And I kind of wanted to make a special night, like okay, I, the oddest of wizards, bestow upon Inga Combs the title of official tarot reader. So, like, in my opinion, you're a reader. So awesome, man. Awesome job. And I hope you continue on with going deeper with me with the same fervor that you attack that with. And I'm just really proud of you and happy for you. So good job. Good job. Good job. Yeah. Okay. So the shadow. Doing shadow work isn't always necessarily the most pleasant work. You do have to address, fears and issues and stuff like that are not really all that happy and cool, but they are part of you, and they are running around down there in your subconscious, and they affect you. And doing shadow work is probably some of the most useful work that actually you can do. It has a tendency, like when people start talking about it, oh man, the shadow work, and it really is kind of. It seems like a lot of people position their shadow work as like they're working with the enemy. But I would propose to you that a change in perspective on that is a a good idea. And the realization that your shadow is your friend and it's part of you, and that, going to address those issues, clearing out some issues, accepting issues, making yourself whole and unified, is kind of the goal of all of this, so that you're just one whole being and not separated into thousands of different things. I think a lot of us work on kind of our sub personalities and getting our conscious mind like centered, and one voice kind of like ruling all of those other things. When I say sub personalities, it's not like multiple personality scenarios. I use that term to identify, like, in the world, you need to be so many different people. So you're with a chef, all of a sudden you have chef skills. You're presenting an ad campaign in an agency, and all of a sudden you're the creative director, and you have sales skills. And each one of those little scenarios that has needs for you to do, you kind of create a little program that deals with those, especially when those are things that like you use more than once or use a lot. Those become little kind of crystallized little programs that you can call up whenever you want. Well, I had a ton of those, and they were all sort of running amok. And I would go assign something to someone, and we'd be doing this, but then other guys interested in other stuff would be over here doing other things, and it was not so efficient and effective, and it was a little scattered. So I really concentrated hard on bringing my conscious all into a center, like a central scrutinizer. It's like the lead voice, so that in my conscious, there's a singular voice that has other voices as it needs. And that was really, really great. But I also realized as I started diving into my shadow work that your subconscious has those too, man. And they're all running around down there. And if you refuse to go look at that, address that, acknowledge that, then those things just kind of run amok, all like, there's chaotic ones and fearful ones, and like, oh man, it's just a mess. So the goal is to unify everybody, get your shadow like all cleaned up and in order, like your conscious is, and then bring those two things together, man. It's the resolution of dualities. And once those things are resolved and working in unison, all of a sudden you're not fighting yourself, man. You're able to flow with stuff. So the unification thing, first of all, being a whole person changes the whole scope of your life. When you're in relationships, when you're needy and you need something from somebody else and they need something from you, then at some point somebody always feels taken advantage of. It always seems unfair to somebody. Those things don't really thrive in long-term scenarios, unless you're addicted to the drama and the dysfunction. But when you're whole and like you don't need anything to be happy and survive, like there you are, man. You're good. You're connected to the source. Your light is flowing freely through that zone, man. You're good. And then the people that you meet, because you're emitting that energy frequency, you wind up meeting people that have that same kind of frequency. And then what happens when whole people get together and have relationships is that, you bring separate things from each other and combine those things into a third thing that's bigger than both of you. And this sort of like spurs a train of thought I wanted to talk about tonight too. The unification thing is like not just on a personal mode. I think a unification thing, like if if the world at large took that on as more of an energy and an attitude, that we would be a lot better off. It just seems like, as I like jet out to widest vision and just look at the whole like panacea of stuff going on, like it seems almost designed. We've been so divided, and like all the social media stuff, they all have algorithms that like tell they read what you like and your preferences and stuff, so they exclude anything else and just start feeding you those things, so it winds up just being this echo chamber of hearing exactly what you want to hear and other people agreeing with you. And when all of those fragments are all like little separate things, man, nobody's working together. Everybody's at odds and fighting each other. There's nothing good. There's no solutions. There's no peace and well-being for everybody when there is a war going on, and stances of intractability, and not even being able to discuss something without yelling and screaming, and like, oh man, it's like I've never seen anything like this in my many decades. And I think that, and a great example of that is men and women. For decades we've been pitted against each other, and like everybody's got to be like fighting, and men suck and women suck, and it's, oh man, it's this whole thing. But the reality is, as biological creatures and as energetic creatures, we're born like those two things, and males have strengths that women don't have, and women have strengths out the yazoo that men don't have. And when those things come together and form that third thing, holy criminy, man, some amazing, miraculous stuff can happen. But we seem to be at so in a hateful, like warring space, that those opportunities for that connection don't happen as much anymore. So just as a plea for goodness and peace, just maybe put that energy out yourself, just for people to like start looking at each other as people and not as enemies. And I think that will contribute at least a couple drops in the bucket to moving that along. What's up, Linda Martin? Good to see you. So whenever I talk about shadow work, you always have to start with Carl Jung and the Red Book. The Red Book, Carl Jung, I'm sure everyone knows, but if there is someone out there that doesn't, Carl Jung was one of the greatest influences on modern psychology of all the guys out there. And not many people know this, but Carl Jung was also an occultist. And there was a 3-year period where he like disappeared from public practice and went and isolated. He did the hermit card, man. He went inside looking for his inner light. In this case, he went inside looking for his inner shadow. And he devised this whole way of going inside himself and kind of like traveling down this path and meeting the things in his shadow world that had really affected him. And those things are like things that happened to you when you were a kid, stuff that really scared you, like bad dreams, like, I mean, it just, the things, the ways your parents taught you, all of those are kind of like personified there. The religious sort of stuff. And Jung grew up, he grew up in the late 1800s. So he was, and in a Catholic family. So a lot of his early programming came with all of that dogma and the stuff, the devil, demons, and all of that kind of thing. which as a kid, man, no, I grew up as a Catholic kid, went to Catholic school, and all of the demons and devils, and like, wow, it was all really scary. So those things form things inside you. So Jung went down and personified them and let those things sort of come towards him and be something that he could talk to and relate to and come to a resolution, and they either dispel that or absorb that into who he was, but not in a in a destructive way anymore. And he spent a year doing that. I got so enthused with that process that I didn't follow his path, because that's not my path, but I kind of used his methodology and his roadmap once he was in to follow my own. But I had a really difficult time like getting in. Like I found that really, really difficult. And being the visual beast that I am, I started devising a few different ways to get in there. And one of the meditation that we'll do tonight is one of my favorite ways for getting in there. And if you haven't done any shadow work, if you're poking around a little bit and it seems kind of hard to get into, like really imprint this one tonight, and take it with you later and try it again, and see how far you can get with it. And this is a meditation that's designed not just to do once, but your shadow's a big place, as big as or bigger than your conscious world. So I've spent many trips to the basement, and continue to go. There's always a new level to that, and the more that gets all resolved, and the more that is in harmony, and like the relief that you feel inside, the relief that you feel when you sit still and get quiet. It's beautiful, 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 beautiful. So worth the effort, so worth the time, so worth the energy. And the thing I really like about this meditation tonight is that it kind of takes the fear out of it. And we're going to do a really great charge up. We're going to light our light up really bright, and we're going to take that light down into our shadow and shine that down there. And that's an amazing process and feeling. And if you really go for it, you will feel different afterwards. And it's designed, like we'll go tonight, we'll do like a top clean on some stuff down there. And then, there are other layers, and the stuff that goes really back all the way to your childhood, the really deep things, the super intense traumas, those are all there waiting for you to have a discussion with them at a later date, and they'll all be good. But just the fact that you're down there and you're shining your light and you're showing no fear, like you come there, you take your power back. You take your power back. You're not controlled. You're not trying to control, but you're just taking your power back, and you're glowing in your brightness and the peace of the source, the true light. Right. So before we get into the shadow stuff specifically, we're going to jump in there and see what time it is. It just flies by. I want to talk to you a little bit about the true light and the spectral light. Like over the last couple of years, I've been making it really. I've been deeply working on my connection to the source, to the true light. And it has revealed some amazing and beautiful things. And it feels so good when I'm there. And the other night I was just in a really deep meditation, and I was, just like we do on the show when we make the sacred space, I'm all about sending love to the source. Not asking for anything for me, sending love to the source. And Oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. So I was really deep, man, and I was super connected, and it was just like I was up in this bright, bright, beautiful place, and it was just light, and I didn't want anything, I didn't need anything. It was like this moment of perfection, and I was just glowing. I was in my light body, and I was just glowing, and I kind of look back on the world, and like it just seems rimmed with all this stuff, all these dogmas and politics and aliens and demons and this and that. And like they all have their agendas, they all have their things. And it's like this whole like weirdness about the way the world is, man. And it's designed to be that way, and we get given the opportunity to raise elevate our energy, our frequency, and rise above that. Something that you'll notice as you scope out any of the books of it, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a bunch of different other things, the Archon, the tripartite tractate from the Nag Hammadi Library. There are all kinds of levels of like the stuff that's in the world is not actually the true light. The true light comes down and winds up getting filtered through all of this other stuff, and kind of it's now the spectral light, and it's broken into spectral frequencies where things are happening on different frequencies. The architect guy, Robert Edward Grant, did a really great video on this about a month and a half ago. Man, just go scope his site and scope that out. And where we are in that spectral zone is where we are in the illusion. That's not the real light. Those are illusions and holograms and fabrications and programs, and connecting to the true light, going up past that, going out of all the dogma, all the rules, all of the things they told you needed to be. You don't need to know anything. You just need to go there and be there. And it is the most beautiful feeling. So scope this out, especially in the first bardo of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It talks about the way to immediate liberation is to be able to recognize the true light past the illusions. And the illusions is a spectral light. So just give that a good feeling. Give that a good thought, and we'll see where that goes. All right, let's get down to business. Let me check this here. Tammy Jo said you've been having sleeping problems sleeping the past 3 months. Well, that's absolutely, positively because of all of the coronal mass ejections and the sunspot activity that's been going on. We've been getting absolutely bombarded. I mean, it has so much effect on our world and the physical world that you can see the correlation between the coronal mass ejection and when that energy starts hitting the earth, and like there have been earthquakes happening, volcanoes happening, like it's pretty profound, the connection to that. So it has really been a difficult mode for the last few months. That's probably not going to change in the immediate future because the sun is in solar maximum cycle, and the way all of those are lined up, they just keep really bombarding us. A couple of weeks ago, I did a show that really addressed being able to attenuate and diminish that effect. And, we did a breathing exercise that night where it's like 3 breaths in, 6 breaths hold, 9 breaths out. And if you do 20 of those, 12, 20 of those, you go for a good 3-4 minutes doing those, it generates an energy for me anyway that has been really good about negating. It doesn't like get it gone all the way, but it diminishes it so much. Like my dreams have stopped being so crazy, man. I was having insane dreams, and those have kind of chilled out, and my demeanor has kind of chilled out. One of the other effects of that is just being really angry, to being just super irritable, like no attention span. And man, it's a whole list. As a matter of fact, I did a show about 5 or 6 shows back that I like showed this list of all of the effects of that solar energy, and it's really profound, and people are feeling it in a very real way and don't know why, because it doesn't really go away. It just kind of continues to go on you. So in that show too, with the 3-6-9 breathing, I also did a really nice shielding exercise to be able to like create a frequency, an energy signature that like a filter that filters that out. And you might go back and look at that too. It was a pretty good one. So check that out. Let's see, anybody else? Inga says, I surrendered. I surrendered to Mercury retro and Saturn. Yeah, I'm good now. Surrendering to Saturn is always the way to go, man. The Saturn is like implacable, the unmovable justice. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into it. And as always, I'll be doing some readings at the end of the show after the meditation. So if you're interested, get your name on the list, and we'll hook you up. All right, let's make some sacred space. With the light of the source, I banish and clean this space. I make this place whole. With the light of the source, I banish and clean this space. I make this place whole. With the radiant light of the source, I banish and clean this space. I make this place pure. We come together in gratitude and joy to share and connect our energy, to create a sacred space, place of sanctuary and safety and light. We ask that the angels be with us this evening, and that they share their knowledge, their wisdom, and their love of the source. We ask that we have eyes to see, ears to hear, and the wisdom to understand. And with absolute gratitude for all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, unconditional love to the source, and our wish for bliss to the source, we open our circle. All right. We're going to jack up our energy. Get nice and centered. We're going to take 3 really deep breaths. The purpose of this is to brighten up your aura so that when we go into the shadow, you're bright like the sun. Okay? So put some oomph in this, man. Really draw. All right? Reach down and draw. And, as always, I go down to the core and the mantle and the earth. Boom, go down there, that crackly blue electromagnetic energy, and man, I draw that. It's like pure, it's untainted by any people or anything else, and it is just kind of raw creative potential that is one of my favorite draws. So we're going to do that. Here we go. I'm going to inhale, draw that up through your legs. Just fill your whole body. One more. Inhale. Feel that energy flow up your legs. One more. One big one. I need another one. Here we go. Inhale. All right. I want you to focus on your solar plexus and think of it as a revolving little sun right in the center of you. And I want you to reach out inside yourself in all directions. Put your attention in the center of that sphere, okay? And I want you to draw all of the energy we just gathered that's in your body right now. And I want you to pull that into that sphere in your solar plexus that's spinning like the sun. All right, here we go. Inhale. Draw it all into that sphere. One more. Inhale. As you draw on your energy, the sphere gets bigger. Keep inhaling. The bigger the sphere gets, the more energy you can draw. And I want you to just keep going another few until you have all the energy in your body focused right in your solar plexus. All right, now we're going to light up our auras. I want you to keep your energy right in the middle of that sphere that's now glowing really bright. And with your exhale, I want you to push that energy out into your light body in all directions and just light it up like it's Broadway on Saturday night. All right? All right, here we go. Inhale and push. Light it up. Light it up. Inhale. Push. Make it so bright you could light the room. Put some oomph behind it. One more. All right. Get nice and comfortable. Shake yourself out. Get really loose. Especially focus on like the top of your shoulders and your neck where it connects to your shoulders. So much tension gets like collected there. Just make a point of just physically, consciously, just relaxing that. All right. All right, so we're going to do ride down to blank space. All right. I'm going to have you inhale, and I want you to draw with your solar plexus. And you're not just drawing in air, you're drawing in bright, gold, warm, healing energy. Okay, you're going to go in through your nose and let that just filter down through your whole being and just brighten your body. Let that healing energy spread all over you. If there's something specific that's bothering you and needs some attention, focus that energy to that specific place. All right. And then as we exhale, I want you to just imagine that you're a machine and you're like somebody turned the switch off, and you're just like the way a turbine powers down. And as your breath goes out, I want you just to be letting go of the world. I'll be talking you through that. And when we get to the end where I say silence, just imagine like you freeze framed. No thoughts, nothing, and just hang that. We're gonna stay in that 8-9 seconds, maybe 10. And we'll do that 3 times. And every time that you get down there to zero space, just stay in that zone as much as you can and try to like go on the next one. Start from there and just keep going deeper, deeper, deeper. Okay. All right, here we go. Inhale. Use your solar plexus in through your nose. Bright gold healing energy. Fill yourself up as much as you can. When you think it's full, add a little more. And release. Sinking down into the stillness. Turning off the machine. Slowing your mind, your body, your breath. Deeper, deeper silence. And inhale. Draw deep. Make yourself glow. Really pack it and release. Sinking deeper into the stillness. No mind. No future. No past. Deeper. Silence. All right, we're going to do one more, and we're going to stay in this one for about 30 to 45 seconds, and then we're going to go into the meditation. So just hang in this space, okay? Here we go. One more. Inhale. Make it count. You're a being of golden light. And release. Sinking into bliss. No time, no mind, no world. Deeper. Silence. All right, out of the stillness, you find yourself on a path in the woods. It's come to a cliff face. You look down at your body and you're still in your human shape, but you're light, glowing light. And as you look up the cliff, you see that it just goes all the way up to the sky. It's enormous. And you notice an opening in the wall. And you walk in. And it's a small cave tunnel leading down a winding path. Your light shines on the wall. You can see the rough rock, hard, solidified. And as you go a ways, you come into a large room, a large open space. You're up on a ledge about 4 feet above a huge pool of water, crystal clear, completely still. You look around the room with the different stalactites and rock formations forming shadows, and you find yourself looking up at the ceiling. And there's a bright light. You can't tell where it's coming from, but it's kind of shining up at the top. And it's a long way to the ceiling. It's hundreds of feet. And you notice something moving, and your attention locks on something kind of coming down towards you slowly. You realize it's a piece of paper floating down in slow motion, coming closer and closer to you. And as it gets really close, you can see that there's an image on the paper. And as it floats by you, you see that it's a picture of you. And it slowly floats down, hitting the surface of the water and sinking down into the depths. And as you watch the picture sinking down, you dive into the water yourself to follow it. Down deeper and deeper through the water. And you find yourself on the bottom, standing on a hard rock bottom. And as your feet meet with the rock, the water starts to drain away. And you find yourself in a little room, little round room, and all around you are openings to different passageways. And you can feel like, you think you can see shadows, and you can see little things moving, but you can't really like get a grasp on any of them, and they fleet by really fast. So you finally decide to select a passageway, just a feeling in your gut, and you start walking down the passage. And a kind of strange glowy light starts to happen at the end of the tunnel, which opens out into an enormous cave. And all around the cave are like little doorways, like it's a whole city of little caves and places to hide. And you go walking into the center of the room, your light glowing, and you can see shadows coming out of those caves and coming towards you. And part of you starts to be fearful, but then you remember that you are the glowing light, and that you're here to bring that light into the shadow, and not here to do war, not here to fight and conflict, but to unify. And pretty soon you realize there's a crowd all around you. And there are some that are crying and some that are chaotic, and there's angry guys, and there's Mr. Rogers and Bozo the Clown, and like every crazy, weird little fear and phantom that you have ever experienced. Floating around out in that crowd. And those are the ones that are really close, the ones that are angry and like just yelling, and they're just yelling. They're not even angry at you, they're just yelling. And the ones that look so scared, and you look around and it's like, oh man, like you feel compassion for them, not fear for them. And in the distance, farther back from them, you see other layers and other kind of forms, and they're all kind of in the back, and they're different. Um, and you bring your focus back to the crowd around you, and you draw your light. And you just draw your energy and your light and get it really focused. One more. And you shoot that light out and light up the whole room. And you're just pouring out love. And connection to the source. And you notice that a whole bunch of those just kind of dissolve and disappear. And there's a few more that you look at, and as you look at them and connect with them and make eye contact and see them, they kind of absorb into you, and they're no longer like a separate thing. They're now like part of you. And you look around at how many of those little bits of craziness of some kind or another, chaos, they're gone now. And already you feel the lightness that you haven't felt before. And you just feel that bliss sort of flow up your body, up your spine. Get the goosebumps. And you realize that this is good work for today. And it's also a roadmap to get back. So walking across the cave, you come to another little opening in a tunnel, and you're walking through that, and you see a really bright light at the end of that tunnel. And as you walk into that room, it's a cave, like completely encrusted with the purest, most beautiful quartz crystals you've ever seen ever. And they're radiating these beautiful rainbows and bright prismatic colors all over the room. And it's just a breathtaking sight and visual. And you see in the center of the room, there's a single crystal, and it's calling your name. And it's glowing and bright and beautiful. And you pick that crystal up, and it connects with you. And you realize that this is a key that you can use to get back to this space, like really fast, anytime that you want. And you notice a bright light glowing from the top, and you look up and the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter until you're just consumed in the light. And you take a deep breath and slowly start coming back to your body. Coming back into your physical form. Grounded, centered, cleaner, lighter, And one more. And you're fully back. You're fully back. Take a nice deep breath now. There we go. So this particular meditation and kind of that pathway has served me super, super well. So in the hopes of, giving you another useful tool, I offer that up to you. And if that one doesn't really do it for you, those were all built out of my own personal, like the crystal room and like all of that. That's all like super me. Use it like I did with the Red Book. And by the way, I have a PDF of the Red Book. If anybody's really interested in getting a hold of it, just email me. And, that little wizard at wizardofoz.com, you can email me and reach out to me there. I'll be happy to send it to you. But that, use this meditation as kind of a roadmap and develop your own, and strongly encourage you to like feel good about your shadow work. Maybe the shadow work doesn't feel good, but feel good about doing it and addressing it and unifying yourself. And that's one of the main ways to go to be your biggest self, the biggest you could be, your most evolved, like the best job you could possibly do. And I hope it serves you really, really well. All right. So man, I've sucked up the whole hour. I'm happy to do a reading for you if anybody's oh yeah, all right. Tammy Joe, there you go. Those little journeys I always like actually really go there. That's just the coolest thing to me. All right, Tammy Joe, focus really hard. Yeah. Wow, they're really loud tonight. All right. Words of wisdom from my friend Tammy Joe. Words of wisdom from my friend Tammy Joe. Words of wisdom from my friend Tammy Joe. The undercut card is the Hermit, man. Like every little message I was getting to me was about your spiritual journey that you're on right now, and that's kind of like the ultimate spiritual journey card. The Hermit just removes himself from society and goes inside to find his inner light. There you go. All right. All right. First of all, encouragement on the path you're on. This is the sun. This is total success. This is the bright light of wholeness and goodness and success in every direction. This is the only card that like is related to every single astrological sign. So stay on the path. Understand that the light of the source is always at your back, lighting your path, and you're always good to go. You're never alone either, by the way, man. The more you connect to that, the more you do your source work, you're never alone, and definitely not lonely. All right. The next card is the Seven of Swords. Yeah, the Seven of Swords is, it's about a lot of deceit. You know, check who, like, if you're in the middle of doing some new business, make sure that you like vet those people really good and that you're getting the straight story. Because this card can represent stuff like out and out thievery, like actual stealing stuff, but this also can be lies and deceptive plans. And I'm kind of picking up that there's a bit of a subterfuge going on around. So just make sure you're really there and you're really in the true light of any kind of situation like that. Uh, from a spiritual standpoint, I I kind of there are a lot of misinformation spiritually out there on the internet, and I would just be really really cautious about who you connect with, and go explore and talk to people, but be really just ramp up your discernment like really hard right at the moment. All right. And the 5 of cups, some people kind of see this as a wob card, but like in this particular instance, the 5 of cups, there's like 3 cups knocked over and the water's gone, but 2 cups are still remaining. And like in the original Rider Waite deck, there's a guy standing there looking at his cups, and 3 of them are all like over and like spilled out, and he's mourning over the loss of his stuff, but he's neglecting to pay attention to the 2 cups that are still there and are probably the ones that he really needs. So my perspective on this is, and especially in this situation, when you really start on a serious spiritual path, a lot of stuff in your life goes away and is no longer appropriate to the person that you were. You kind of go through a death of a sort, and you scrape that off and, you know, start building a new you. A lot of stuff that considered an integral part of your life can kind of go away from time to time, and sometimes that can be a little painful at the beginning, but the things that are left are the things that are really true and for you, and a great foundation to build um, finding a whole and happy life for yourself, man, in every way, shape, or form. So, just remember, you've got like super support and success and this whole like scenario, and with the sun's protection, you know the sun will bring light to this. So just stay connected to that and stay aware and on the top of your game, and just know that you've got good stuff to work with, man, and great emotions and a beautiful good soul, and just keep trucking on, man. There are a lot of people that are with you. All right, let me see. Oh, Mr. Deloche, good to see you. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, yeah, here we'll have to do this one. Yeah, I'm glad you like that one, man. That's one of my favorite ones. It's a real it really gets out there. Yeah, and yeah, good, 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 good. Let me, give me some update. Let me know. That's the real payday for me, man. There's really no money going on here. So the payday for me is seeing you guys get it, like being able to like celebrate Inga tonight, and it's a really that's where it really counts for me. All right, I don't think. Let's see. Do. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody. All right. Um, so Grant gets out. I didn't get a specific say hey to you, and just want to reach out and say, hey, I can't wait for you to get your deck, man. I'd love to hear back from you when you get it, and this is something I want to throw out to you guys too. If, I'm kind of considering doing a Patreon channel and doing some extra, like really specific courses. And um, I'm strongly considering doing a tarot webinar. And if any of you guys are out there interested in that, let me know, get in touch with me, and I'll put something together and we'll get a little class together. All right. Well, as always, it seemed to go by really, really fast. But we've reached the end of this particular session for this evening, and as always, hit the like, subscribe. Please leave a comment at the bottom, and always a huge thanks. I appreciate and love you guys for coming and sharing space, and our little family has really come to mean a lot to me. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for sharing space. Thanks for participating. And hopefully you feel a little better now than you did when you first got here. So until next week, I love you guys. And we will reconvene before you know it, in the blink of an eye. Oh, we gladly and joyously come to the end of our ceremony and bid everyone back on their glorious way. We thank the angels for their beautiful light, their wisdom and knowledge, and their deep love and appreciation for the source. And with absolute gratitude for it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, absolute unconditional love, and our wish for bliss to the source. Until next week, be in the light.